Hello, welcome to the Ladysmith Middle and High School virtual Veterans Day program. I want to extend a special greeting to all of our veterans who are watching this program and sincerely thank you for what you have done for all of us. While we're forced to do things a little bit differently, this year it feels more important than ever that we take this time to celebrate Veterans Day, to honor the men and women who have kept America free and secure by serving in the armed forces of the United States. We're here to pay tribute to the courageous men and women who are willing to fight for the ideals of liberty that we too often take for granted. Our veterans have defended these ideals all over the world to preserve our freedom and the American way of life. Many have given their lives in defense of our country, and we cannot measure the value of these freedoms secured by their supreme sacrifices. While America can never repay the debt it owes to our veterans, we can express our gratitude by remembering their valiant service. Today, I encourage you to listen to and learn about the sacrifices of our veterans that they have made for all of us. Our veterans deserve our respect and appreciation today and every day.
In 1918, on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, an armistice or temporary cessation of hostilities was declared between the Allied nations and Germany in World War I, then known as the Great War. 1 year later, in November 1919, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson proclaimed November 11th as the first commemoration of Armistice Day. The day's observations included parades and public gatherings, as well as a brief pause in business and school activities at 11 a.m. On November 11th, 1921, an unidentified American soldier killed in the war was buried at Arlington National Cemetery near Washington, D.C. On June 4, 1926, Congress passed a resolution that the recurring anniversary of November 11, 1918, should be commemorated with thanksgiving and prayer and exercises designed to perpetuate peace and goodwill through mutual understanding between nations, and that the President should issue an annual proclamation calling for the observation of Armistice Day. By that time, 27 state legislatures had made November 11th a legal holiday. An act approved May 13, 1938, made November 11th a legal federal holiday dedicated to the cause of world peace and hereby after be celebrated and known as Armistice Day. American efforts during World War II saw the greatest mobilization of U.S. Army, Navy, Marine, and Air Force in the nation's history. More than 16 million people. Some 5.7 million more served in the Korean War.
In 1954, after lobbying efforts by veteran service organizations, the 83rd U.S. Congress amended the 1938 Act that made Armistice Day a holiday, striking the word armistice in favor of veterans. President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the legislation on June 1, 1954. From then on, November 11th became a day to honor American veterans of all wars. The next development in the story of Veterans Day unfolded in 1968 when Congress passed the Uniform Monday Holiday Act, which sought to ensure 3-day weekends for federal employees and encourage tourism and travel by celebrating 4 national holidays on Mondays. The observation of Veterans Day was set as the 4th Monday in October. The first Veterans Day under the new law was Monday, October 25th, 1971. Confusion ensued as many states disapproved of this change and continued to observe the holiday on the original date. In 1975, after it became evident that the actual date of Veterans Day carried historical and patriotic significance to many Americans, President Gerald Ford signed a new law returning the observation of Veterans Day to November 11th, beginning in 1978. In the United States, an official wreath-laying ceremony is held each Veterans Day at the tomb of the unknown soldier in Arlington National Cemetery, while parades and other celebrations are held in states around the country.
Good morning, Ladysmith School District. My name is Staff Sergeant Trey Webb. I serve in the Army Reserves with the 1st 338th Training Support Battalion out of Fort McCoy, Wisconsin. I've been in the Army Reserves for 8 years. When I was asked to be the keynote speaker for the Ladysmith School District's Veterans Day Assembly, I was honored, but wasn't sure what to say. As a veteran, you normally don't think about what it means to you. My wife and I sat around trying to figure it out, and all we could think of is why I joined in the first place, and why I continue to keep serving. So I thought that is a perfect place to start. When I was 17, I signed my first contract, excited to take this step towards my new life. I joined to serve my country and family with honor. Being a veteran doesn't always mean going to war. I was deployed to Kuwait, Syria, Afghanistan, Qatar, and United Arab Emirates on my very first deployment. All the people that I met while there, those became my true best friends. They became family. So, being a veteran, obviously, you don't have to go to war, but it's the people that you meet, the things that you see, and the cultures that you get to experience. To me, a veteran is someone who willingly gives away their life to people that don't even know them. Getting a call to leave your family for an extended period of time without even questioning it, you pack your bags and leave. A veteran doesn't want praise or glory, they just want to serve this great country. Being a veteran, I am honored to stand with 1% of the population in the U.S., whether it is past, present, or future. Today is to honor those who have made the choice to serve their countries and communities. Thank you, and have a wonderful Veterans Day.
Flanders, a former colony in the North Sea, was the heart of economic and political development in the Low Countries during the Middle Ages. It included the present Belgian provinces of West and East Flanders and parts of modern France and the Netherlands. With its favorable location on the sea, Flanders became a wealthy trading center with numerous industrial towns such as Bruges and Ghent.
Flanders has been the scene of repeated warfare from the time of the Crusades in the 12th century through the Hundred Years' War in the 14th century, and then the Spanish Wars in the 1600s and 1700s to extraordinary battles during World War I.
In 1919, Dr. John McCrae wrote the stirring poem entitled In Flanders Fields. In 15 short lines, McCrae captures the courage, valor, awe, and stark reality of war. The images he invokes of young people's lives, once so full of hope and beauty, vanquished by the ravages of warfare, are some of the most moving ever penned. To this day, it continues to be an emotional salute to the young men and women who have given their lives in warfare, protecting the lands, the people, and the dreams we cherish most. His challenge to take up the torch of the fallen warriors is as desperate a challenge to remember as any we will find in the English language.
On Veterans and Remembrance Days in North America, we often wear a poppy blossom on our lapel to salute our fallen warriors. This beautiful gesture was encouraged by the vivid words of Dr. McCrae's poem. From the intrepid battles of Gettysburg and Bull Run, Europe and the Pacific, Korea, Vietnam, the Persian Gulf, and all the battles before and after, we do our best to remember the sacrifice of others who protected our dreams and realities. Lest we forget, and Flanders Fields will be there to remind us. We hope this musical setting of these immortal words will move you to remember and be grateful.
I pledge allegiance to my flag and the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On September 8, 1892, the Boston-based Youth's Companion magazine published these words for students to repeat on Columbus Day that year. Written by Francis Bellamy, the circulation manager and native of Rome, New York, and reprinted on thousands of leaflets, was sent out to public schools across the country. On October 12, 1892, the Quadri Sentinel of Columbus' arrival, more than 12 million children recited the Pledge of Allegiance, thus beginning a required school day ritual.
At the first National Flag Conference in 1923, a change was made. For clarity, the words, "The flag of the United States," replaced "my flag." In following years, various other changes were suggested, but were never formally adopted. It was not until 1942 that Congress officially recognized the Pledge of Allegiance. 1 year later, in June 1943, the Supreme Court ruled that the school children could not be forced to recite it. In fact, today, only half of our 50 states have laws that encourage the recitation of the Pledge of Allegiance in the classroom.
In June of 1954, an amendment was made to add the words "under God." Then President Dwight D. Eisenhower said, "In this way, we are reaffirming the transcendence of religious faith in America's heritage and future. In this way, we shall constantly strengthen those spiritual weapons which forever will be our country's most powerful resource in peace and war."
From the time we enter school, we Americans recite the Pledge of Allegiance thousands of times. All too often, however, the words are rattled off in a meaningless manner. But the Pledge of Allegiance is not a bunch of words to be mindlessly repeated. It is quite literally a commitment to the country we call home. This is what the pledge means. I,
Me, an individual, a committee of one,
pledge
dedicate all my worldly goods to give without self-pity,
allegiance
my love and my devotion.
to the flag
Our standard, O Glory, a symbol of freedom. Wherever she waves, there's respect because your loyalty has given her a dignity that shouts freedom is everybody's job.
of the United States of America.
Individual communities that have united into 50 great states. 50 individual communities with pride and dignity and purpose, all divided with imaginary boundaries, yet united to a common purpose, and that's love for country.
And to the republic,
A state in which sovereign power is invested in representatives chosen by the people to govern. Government is the people, and it's from the people to the leaders, not from the leaders to the people.
for which it stands,
The flag represents the values of our form of government, in which everyone is equal under the law.
one nation, under God,
A country formed under God whose people are free to believe as they wish,
indivisible,
incapable of being divided,
with liberty
which is freedom, the right of power to live one's own life without threat, fear, or some sort of retaliation,
and justice,
and the principle or quality of dealing fairly with others,
for all.
for every person in the nation, regardless of their differences.
The pledge says you are promising to be true to the USA every time you face the flag and say the pledge. Remember our veterans, both men and women, who sacrificed to protect the freedoms we enjoy today as Americans. Please rise and join your country in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is the origin of the 21-gun salute. If you ever attend a military funeral or memorial ceremony, you may notice a group of men and women proudly holding rifles. Then, at a specific time, they aim their weapons up to the sky and fire, usually causing a slight stir in the crowd, even though everyone was expecting it to happen. Don't worry, those rounds are just blanks. This practice is quite common throughout the world, and, as with many traditions, it has a practical origin. Back when ships carried cannons, it was universally understood that immediately after firing, these weapons were rendered ineffective for a period of time. After all, reloading took a while. So, in order to demonstrate peaceful intent, ships would turn their cannons to the sky and discharge, telling those ashore that a ship's weapons weren't live. Nobody knows why ships were designed at one point to carry precisely 7 cannons. Some theorize that it's related to the 7 phases of the moon. Others think it has to do with the biblical week. And some say it's simply because 7 is a lucky number.
The cannon and shore batteries, with ample stores of dry, usable gunpowder, would fire 3 shots in return for every single shot they heard coming from the sea. For all you math geniuses out there, that equals 21 cannon shots. Upon hearing the return fire, ships at sea knew that the harbor was friendly, and the 21-gun salute was born. It isn't always 21, though. During the funeral ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery, the former presidents and presidents-elect received the traditional 21-gun salute. Other high-ranking officials, however, like the Secretary of Defense, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and military officers in command over multiple branches, receive a 19-gun salute. However, at most military funerals, what many mistake for a 21-gun salute is actually an honor guard team firing 3 volleys from rifles. This tradition comes from traditional battle ceasefires. The firing of 3 volleys indicated the dead were cleared and properly cared for. Although hearing the 3-round volley typically means you're mourning the loss of a fellow patriot, know that this is a practice rooted in peace and history. With this salute, the fallen join those who give us traditions so long ago.